Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm your presenter Mervin. Thank you for joining us. And top in the headlines, Dominican youth encouraged to take advantage of educational opportunities provided by the current administration. The Ministry of Health confirms no cases of swine flu in Dominica, and the hunting and fishing season is officially open. Stay with us for details of these and other stories right after the break.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. The Ministry of Health on Friday announced that based on review of surveillance data from the Health and Information Unit, there are no confirmed cases and no outbreak of swine flu in Dominica at present. This announcement comes following news of an outbreak of H1N1 influenza, commonly known as swine flu, in the islands of St. Vincent and Barbados. In light of the outbreak in neighboring islands, the Ministry of Health is assuring the Dominican public that it is monitoring the situation closely. Information from the ministry has confirmed that all systems for response to influenza cases are in place. The ministry, however, wishes to remind the public to practice good personal hygiene to protect themselves and others from acquiring the influenza virus. Dominica's educators will join others across the world on Saturday, October 5th in the 20th observance of World Teachers' Day under the theme, Teachers Take the Lead for Quality Education. President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savre, in a radio address on Friday, said the theme for World Teachers' Day underscores the conviction that educators should lead the debate about excellent and quality teaching. The island's head of state commended the island's teachers for their role in molding the lives of nationals. He noted that there is tangible evidence that the educators continue to function effectively at schools across the country.
The performance of students at the 2013 Grade 6 National Assessment and the results of the CSEC Regional Examination unequivocally attest to the fact that Dominican teachers go beyond the call of duty. We thank them for this tremendous effort and urge them to continue to work collectively towards an even higher level of professional competence.
His Excellency President Savre commended the Dominica Association of Teachers and the Ministry of Education for organizing the professional development workshops for teachers every summer.
The goal is to sustain a high-performing education system. These workshops serve as a professional training communities where educators come together regularly to share and learn from one another. Newly acquired knowledge of innovative teaching methods and pedagogy provide teachers with the opportunity to equip students with the knowledge, skills, and attributes required for the 21st century workforce.
The island's head of state also had some encouraging words for the island's teachers.
I urge all teachers to continue to play a prominent role in the life of your students, to act as their guide for life, showing them the path towards success and enrich their personalities by imparting ethical and academic knowledge. Bring out the untamed talents of your students and sharpen it in order to bring out the best results. I encourage you to organize events and participate fully in these events in order to make the day a truly international celebration.
As part of the local observance, all schools were closed on Friday as the island's teachers gathered at the Cabrits National Park for a Teachers' Day rally. In other news, Acting Chief Youth Development Officer John Roach has endorsed an idea by current President of the National Youth Council, Josiah Binua, for the installation of a youth parliament in Dominica. Mr. Roach's support was expressed when he addressed the inauguration ceremony for the new executive of the National Youth Council last Friday.
Young people need the opportunity to have their voices heard and to be included in the decision-making process. In relation to the current issues of indecent exposure of young people on social media, how much weight do the views of young people have on influencing legislation amendments to protect the youth? On the other issue of prerequisites for the position of President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, what are the reasonable expectations of the youth of the office of the President? Do these reasonable expectations matter to the consulting parties? Hence the need for the installation of the Youth Parliament, which is an integral element of the Constitution of the National Youth Council of Dominica, where the young people of Dominica can participate in shaping the social and political landscape of the society which they envision.
Back in March of 2010, following a youth debate in Dominica, which was held as part of activities to observe Commonwealth Day, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit had hinted that a youth parliament may become a permanent occurrence on the island. He noted then that the setting up of a youth parliament as a permanent fixture in member states of the Caribbean community was one recommendation which was put forward at the CARICOM Youth Summit in Suriname in February that year. In more news, the annual open season for hunting and fishing has been declared open and approved by the Cabinet of Dominica. Forest Officer Stephen Durand told GIS News that effective Friday, October 4, licensed hunters and freshwater fishermen are free to hunt and fish.
People are allowed to hunt or fish, whatever choice you want to, of game species. And to do this, I want to tell the public, to do this, you need to have a hunting and a fishing license. It is required, the law requires that you have. Everybody who's about 14 years and wants to be a member or part of a hunting party or fishing party, you need to have your license.
The hunting license costs $25, while the fishing license costs $15. Both licenses are being issued at the Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Office in Roseau, at the sub-treasuries located at Portsmouth and Marigot. The hunting and fishing season will remain open until December. Meantime, people wishing to export Dominica's wildlife have been advised to obtain a valid export license from the Director of Forestry.
Persons who are interested in traveling with wildlife or persons who want to export wildlife that is from Dominica, they need to have a permit as well. And this year, you have to pay $10 for the permit. The permit is $10 and it is issued at the Office of Director, that is the Forestry Office in Roseau. So anybody who's interested in Dominica and they're interested in traveling wildlife, there are people who will come and want to take back a little piece of agouti, some dry manico, some crabbacks, whatever, for their family, friends, and wherever in the US, wherever they're traveling to, they need to come and have a permit issued to them by the Director of Forestry, and it will cost only $10.
The Forestry and Wildlife Division is cautioning the traveling public that the exportation or attempts to export wildlife from the state without a valid export license is a violation of the Forestry and Wildlife Act and is in fact punishable upon conviction by a fine and/or imprisonment. In more news, Minister for Culture, Youth and Sports, Honorable Justina Charles, has advised the youth of Dominica to take advantage of the educational opportunities provided by the current administration to empower themselves. The minister made the appeal when she addressed the investiture ceremony to install the new executive of the National Youth Council last Friday.
We must be very, very thankful of all the opportunities that are before us. Because for all of us who are here out there, the senior persons, or those of us who are a little older than most of you here, can attest that none of those opportunities existed before. None. Very little. if any, very little. And so there are opportunities created for our young people. But how much do we embrace those opportunities? How much do we take advantage of the opportunities that are provided?
The minister, speaking on the issue of skills training, said she would like to see more young people demonstrate interest in learning a new skill.
Some of our young persons are engaged in various skill programs organized by the Ministry of Youth, through the Youth Development Division, and some other agencies provide training skills training for many of our young people. But how many of our young people take advantage of those opportunities? And I say it with no apology that very often some of our young people do not take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to them. And even sometimes when the opportunities are presented, we go, but we do not maximize that little opportunity that we have, or make the best of it.
The minister said the DLP government remains committed to ensuring that the enabling environment is provided to ensure that all young people receive an education.
We know government has worked, or is continuing to work, on providing the facilities where we can have, our young persons can have access to universal, and we know we have universal primary and secondary education. We can continue that because we know with the increase in the youth population, we know that we definitely have to provide the space, the facility where we can ensure that no child stays out of school or no child is deprived of a primary, secondary, and tertiary education as far as it is possible.
The Youth Development Division since 1972 has been providing skills training through its Youth Skills Training Program, where thousands of Dominican youth have benefited. Just last year, 280 young men and women successfully graduated from 11 skills training modules offered by the Youth Skills Training Program. The community of Lago in Portsmouth has long endured the inconvenience of not having pedestrian sidewalks and the health threat posed by a poor drainage system. Thanks to funds recently made available by the government of Dominica, this community will soon have a solution to this issue. On Thursday, GIS visited the Cottage constituency with Honorable Reginald Ostry to view the ongoing work on the first phase of the Lago Road Improvement Project. The first phase of the project involves creating sidewalks for the safety of pedestrians and improving the drainage system. In the second phase of the project, the road from the Portsmouth Market to the Purple Tittle area will be resurfaced.
It's a project that has been in the working for quite some time now. In fact, that project was done sometime in the 1980s under the Freedom Party government, but the drains were not properly done, and so you had an issue with the flow of the water. And so you find water is accumulating in the old drain, causing a lot of mosquito problems. You should know by now that Lago is somewhat below the level of the sea, and it's very prone to flooding and hence mosquitoes. So the government designed that project some years ago to arrest the situation, but due to the financial situation existing at the time, we could not have done it. But now the funds have been made available. I think it's over $400,000, where we're seeking to do 900 meters of drainage and sidewalks. The second phase of the project will see the resurfacing of the road, and it's going to begin from the market in Portsmouth way back to the Purple Turtle area. So when the drain is finished, then we'll do the surfacing, and the entire project will cost somewhere in the region of $1 million EC dollars.
The $1 million project is expected to enhance this route, which serves as an entrance to the Cabarets, one of the main tourist attractions in the Portsmouth area. According to Benoit Laville, contractor, work began about 2 months ago and is ahead of schedule. This project has enabled him to employ 15 young men, mainly from the Lago community.
I want to thank the Palo Rep for giving me the job, and for the workers that, being there with me to do so much in such a little time.
One of the employees of the project is pleased for the opportunity to earn additional income.
It's a form of employment. Well, basically I'm self-employed, I mean, I do my own work, but now, you know, I get a little job. It keeps me occupied. And, you know, and I mean, financially it's helping me a lot. So, as I tell you, what can I say? Thanks to God, and also thanks for the government again in creating employment, you know, for the youth.
Michael Roy, road inspector in the technical division of the Ministry of Public Works, is on the job to ensure that duties are carried out well and the quality of work meets the required standard.
I'm saying that this is really a tremendous project undertaken at the Lago span of this roadway. These guys are working with such a speed that it's sort of ahead of time, and so they're really keeping within the schedule of work. And no doubt, I think that, you know, we've been getting a very beautiful finish at the end of each day, and I think the production is at the maximum. As a representative for the Ministry of Public Works, that is what we are there to do, is to ensure that the expected quality of work is maintained from the start through and then to the finish.
Residents of the community are overjoyed about the long-awaited project and do not mind the inconvenience posed at this time by the process.
Well, that is nothing. We have to make a sacrifice because they had done a bad job already for us, the former government. So now all you're doing a good job for us. We have to sacrifice. So I agree for everything, for what all you're doing. I agree even how to break for you to fix a proper thing for us. So I agree for it.
I think the project had long overdue, but thank God it is there, and I think it will help to eliminate the mosquito problem that we have in our community. And the other thing I like more about it is that I see some of our people, our young men in the community working, and I am very glad for that. And I want to say thanks to the PAL rep. I think it is he who did it, and I just want to say thanks for him.
In related news, residents of Toto in the community of Cottage will soon have improved roads and new water pipes in their area. The road formerly built by the Cottage Village Council began as a community-based project. However, the government of Dominica is funding its completion.
That is a continuation of a project that we started last year as a community-based project. That road was constructed by the Village Council over 40 years ago, and because of time, it has deteriorated to a terrible extent. And so when we started community-based projects, that project was submitted. We did half of the road, and now we're getting to do the second half. But you see this retaining wall, there was an old retaining wall there. And although it was not budgeted for as part of the project, but we could not continue the project without breaking it down and rebuilding it. So now that we've completed the wall, I expect sometime next week we'll start on the road. We're going to try to extend the road by about 2 feet so we can have like a double lane traffic, because the village of Toto is a populated area, and so access to there is very, very important. Another thing that we'll achieve under that project is a changing of the pipes. These pipes were put in there again about the same time the road was constructed, and as you can see, most of them have rotted away. So, well, again, it was not part of the project, but it does not make sense to concrete the road and to bury the bad pipes.
The project, which will cover about 1,500 feet of road, will cost in the region of $80,000. Resident of Cottage, Jeffrey Roman, is the contractor on the project. He has employed 6 young men from the community and is grateful to his parliamentary representative for that initiative.
I have to say that project means a lot to me because it has been 3-4 years now since I started the upper part of the road. And well, so the minister keep on telling me, Mr. Sri, that we're going to get things going, and I keep on waiting that things are going. So about 2 weeks back, he told me, well, Jeffrey, well, everything is okay and that we have to get things going. So then I just follow up. I have to say thanks to Mr. Sri for getting this thing going on.
Roman adds that the community is pleased with the project.
Well, everybody so far say, well, it's a good thing, it's a good thing. You know, everybody have been waiting for this completion of this road, and I mean, everybody's glad about it. One
resident shared his gratitude for the work of the parliamentary representative.
To repair that road, which of course I can recall the time that bulldozer cut it, and to me now we're going to get a facelift, and that is the best. What I'm saying is this: we appreciate what the PAL rep is doing at this point in time.
Work on the Toto Road began 2 weeks ago and is expected to be complete by the end of this year. Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the Commonwealth of Dominica to the United Nations, His Excellency Vince Henderson, made an appeal this week for the lifting of the economic embargo against Cuba. In his address at the general debate of the 60th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Ambassador Henderson explained that the embargo imposed by the United States continues to be of much concern to the Caribbean region.
Unilateral actions by the United States of America continue to be the root cause of sufferings of our brothers and sisters in the Republic of Cuba. Our Caribbean region continues to witness the unheeded call for the lifting of a half-century economic embargo on our brothers and sisters. We call on the government of the United States to support the full integration of the Cuban people into the global trading system. This will help to improve their lives and allow the world to benefit from their tremendous contributions, which they are capable, especially in the areas of science and technology.
And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en Creole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le département santé environ a fait diverses bagailles pour traiter le public là pour taper vieille maladie. Si l'on mange, il peut consommer pendant la saison indépendante. Parole celle-là sortie de acting chef officier du département environ, Sylvestre Senville.
Moi, ça, c'est un mois là, Dominicien qui a célébré indépendance, quand nous avons Creole Festival. So, moun ka gagne manger avec ou c'est manger qui ka moun ka treat avec van à l'aise là, c'est manger traditionnel. Vous savez kalalou, kwab, poisson yam pain, vous savez c'est tout bagay ça là nous ka manger, il y a dans nous qui ka manger ça tous les jours mais vous savez laisse ça là, il ka ni plus manger comme ça qui ka van, plus manger traditionnel. So ça nous ka fait en environmental health, à l'aise ça là nous ka toujours taper moun ka malade. D'ailleurs manger qui pas préparé bien, manger qui pas moun pas store bien, ou ça manger qui pas yo pas chébé bien. C'est so les moun vend manger ça là, moun manger ça là, yo ka malade. So ça nous ka fait moi ça là, c'est ba moun information publique information yo ça là yo ni pour aller gagner manger, yo savent ça qui bon avec ça qui pas bon. Ça pour yo gagner avec ça pour yo pas gagner. Parce ou savent le cas gagne manger ou le gagne manger qui pas qui fait au malade.
En notre nouvelle, le ministre Santé Dominique a annoncé que si l'information est tapée au département Information Santé Dominique, il panique que swine flu en Dominique à présent. Annoncement ça là qu'a venu si la nouvelle maladie salam qui paraît en Saint-Vincent et puis Barbade. Quand même, le ministre Santé Dominique a informé le public là si la situation salam en ces pays là, il y a monitor la situation là bien près. Il y a aussi qu'à faire parole que tout le système en place pour combattre la maladie là, si en tous les cas, le ministre Santé quand même qu'a avisé le public là pour suivre bon standard hygiene pour empêcher de taper la maladie là. En la nouvelle, messieurs, mesdames, département Forêt Dominique a informé le public là que saison la chasse officiellement ouverte. Selon officier département Forêt Stephen Durant, cabinet Dominique prend décision salam pour saison indépendante. Aller jusqu'à le 30 décembre l'année là.
Division 1 et gouvernement cabinet qui prend une décision pour ba mon en chance pour y aller la chasse et pour y aller pêcher poisson qui en la rivière, poisson pour ça moun ça manger en la rivière et animaux comme gouti, manicou, crab et ces animaux ça là. So c'est les pour moun venir ici en division forêt pour taper licence parce qu'on est pour une licence en premièrement on licence pour ça faire la chasse et pour ça y pêcher et on pour venir ici où ça also acheter licence là en treasury Guantans et Marigot aussi. Et ça va avoir une chance. So, tout le monde qui est allé pêcher et en la rivière et puis aller faire la chasse pour garder pour bête pour ça manger, bête sauvage pour ça manger, ni pour ni en permis. Et ça qui commencé aujourd'hui là, pour dernier jour en décembre.
Et puis finalement, ministère jeunesse, Honorable Justina Charles, qui a créé assez jeunesse à pays là pour prendre l'avantage opportunité éducation qui gouvernement a baillé développer comme ailleurs. Honorable Charles fait parole cela pendant été délivré l'adresse en cérémonie pour conseil jeunesse venir en place vendredi. Le ministère a parlé contre opportunité d'entraînement et puis il était voulu voir plus jeunesse apprendre en l'état. Gouvernement Labour Party Dominique que resté et puis tient commitment pour faire assurer que toute jeunesse tapé en éducation. L'année passée, plus que 200 jeunesse en Dominique graduate hard skills training programme. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour Nouvelle Creole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Ni un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Thank you, McPherson. We now join Pearl Fontaine for this week's edition of Flashback.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Flashback. This week, former National Security Minister Honorable Charles Savre was sworn in as the 8th President of the Commonwealth of Dominica on Wednesday. Chief Cultural Officer called for nationals to recommit themselves to nation building during this year's independence celebrations. And geothermal engineer Jim Randall gave Dominica's geothermal energy pursuits a thumbs up. He dismissed suggestions that the exploration of the geothermal resource may cause earthquakes in the Roseau Valley. The Ministry of Agriculture is on its way to developing a climate-proofed agriculture strategy, which will allow stakeholders within the sector to be more climate smart. Dominica and Brazil signed a cooperation agreement on water resource management this week. And the Ministry of Education received a huge donation from US-based non-profit organization Bless the Children, Inc. Honorable Justina Charles has called on Dominican youth to take advantage of educational opportunities provided by the current administration. The Ministry of Health confirms no cases of swine flu in Dominica, and the annual season for hunting and fishing has been declared open and approved by the Cabinet of Dominica. Those were the stories which made the headlines this week. Back to you, Mervin.
Coming up next, your tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Here are some internet safety tips for kids in order to remain safe even while making full use of the vast information available out there on the web. Be careful what you share online, particularly when it comes to personal and sensitive information about yourself and any member of your family. Social networks have privacy settings, but even those can be bypassed and hacked into, so the best thing to do is not to indulge too much. When sharing photographs of yourself or your family, choose where to post or upload it. Also, be mindful of the photos or images you share. If the photographs are of other people, like members of your family, ask for their permission first before posting them online. And when using a computer or laptop that is also used by other people, make sure to log out properly from any of your accounts, including emails or social networks, when you're done using the internet. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Mervin. Have a great weekend.